Hey guys, in today's session we will understand what is object store and also we will see the practical demonstration of using it. Now let's understand what is object store is. Object store is a storage in MuleSoft that can be used for storing small size data. So that data can be used across the project. Now let's see the practical demonstration of using it. I'm in my Anypoint Studio. Let's create a project by clicking on File, New, Mule Project. Let me give my project name as Object Store Demo. Click on Finish so that project will be created. As you can see, it has created my project and this is my configuration file in which I'll be setting up my object store and retrieving the data from it. For this demonstration, I'm going to take an example of creating a token and storing it in the object store. And when the token is expired, I want to regenerate it. So for that use case, let's build a flow. Let me drag the listener to here and provide my listener configuration. I want to give my base path as slash API and the actual path of my API will be slash token is what I want to give. So let me drag a logger message over here, print something like create token, and I want to create a subflow that will be invoked from my main flow. And that subflow takes care of creating a token and storing it in the object store. And when the token is expired, it will takes care of recreating it again. Now let's drag a subflow to the palette and then I will add a logger statement again. Okay, so I'll add sample message like token creation. Okay, my token will be created by hitting an API request. So for that, I will drag my HTTP connector and provide the HTTP configuration over here. Before I provide, I will show you how I can create. I have got one public API that we can use to create the token, temporary token. So that public API expects the input body, and if we provide that input body, it will create a token every time when we hit. So as you can see, this is returning access token as well as refresh token, and when I hit again, it will recreate the new token again along with the refresh token. So this sample API we can take it as an example, and this token we can store it in the object store. Now let me go back to here, provide my configuration. This is my post call. As you can see, this is post call, and let me provide the domain name. I'll provide my HTTP configuration. This is my host and this runs on port 443. Save, and the path of my API will be this one. So I'm taking this. All right, and this expects the input body. So the input body is this one in the data view format. So I'm pasting it and then save it. Okay, the changes are saved. Now let me create the object store. Search for store. As you can see, these are all the object store connectors, like clearing the stored data and contains, remove, retrieve all key, something like that. So let's use store. This is used for storing the data. Now I want to give my key name as key because the data in the object store will be stored in the form of key and value format. So, and let's create object store by clicking on place and time to live TTL. For now I'll give it as 10 seconds, and interval also let's give it as 10 seconds for now. And then save it. Okay, file, save all. The object store has been created now. So what happens when this subflow is invoked? This will create a token and that payload will be stored in this object store, and we can retrieve the data from this object store whenever we want, and we can use it in the further flow. uh, let's drag flow reference to call this subflow from our main flow. Okay, so this is my flow reference and from which I want to call the object store demo subflow, this one. Okay, so this will be invoked. Now let me drag another connector to here, like set payload to here, and this we can use to print the payload. Whatever the output that we get, we can use it to print the payload. But before that, let's try to retrieve the data. So here the data will be stored, and we can use another connector in object store, uh, that is retrieve. Okay, let's tag retrieve. Now this retrieve key, the key name I have provided it as token. Yeah, let me provide token. And the object store that I've created is object store. If you see, the object store name I have provided as object store only. So what it does, it will read the data from the object store itself, the key. Now here what it does is, if the value doesn't provide, it will just return null value, simple empty value. Now if we come here, I want to provide it as payload dot access token. Okay, so if you see in the API request, it is returning access token along with the refresh token. So I want to read only this access token. So for that, I have provided it as a payload dot access token. The payload, it contains both values, access token as well as the refresh token. Now, okay, so when I hit the flow, what happens? The request comes here and it will invoke the subflow. It will make this API call and then store it in the object store. And again, when I hit it again the same process happens, like the new token will be created and it will be stored in the object store. But this should not happen. We only want to generate the token when the token is expired. Say for example, my token expiration time is 60 seconds. Okay, so I want to invoke the API call after 60 seconds. So for that, we can configure in a way that we can provide our time to live. If you see here, I have already provided. So for now, I have provided it as 10 seconds, means considering our token gets expired in 10 seconds. Okay, when I hit the API next time, it will come here, recreate the new token, and then the data will be stored in this object store. But before that, I want to make some pre-checks, saying like if the token is already present or not. If the token is already exist, that is valid, I want to use the existing token instead of recreating it again. So for that, let's use a connector called choice. This can be used to validate our token status, like if it is exist or not. Now, uh, this requires the data, right? If the token exists or not. So for that, what I'll do, I'll use the retrieve connector again. This basically reads the data. So it's same as this retrieve, because when this flow reference is called, first it will try to read the data from the object store with the key token. If it exists, then it will not create a new token. So I'm returning it. Now if I come here, the payload, I'll provide it as payload equal to null, right? If my payload is null, then this will be executed. If not, then I will set my payload like it should return only the payload dot access token, right? So if you see here, in the first run, my token has been created, and in the second run, it will come here. It will try to read the data from the object store. Uh, if the object store has already data, then it will simply call this step and it will print that. It will set this payload access token. If not, it will call this flow and create a new token and store it in the object store again. It depends on the time to live. So whatever the configuration that we provide, if we see expiration interval and time to live seconds we have provided, right? Uh, if an API call made within 10 seconds, then this new token will not be created. If an API call is made after 10 seconds, then this token will be created. Now, let's save this flow. I'll add a breakpoint over here. So for example, let's add over here and I will run it in the debug mode. Changing the perspective. Okay, so the application is deployed now. Let me switch back to my Postman. This is my API. So if I hit it now, the request has come over here. Now it is going to retrieve the data. Since it is first time, the token is not there, so it will go into the choice. Then it is going into the this block. Now next, the token will be created. If we see, this is our token and refresh token, right? So the token is created and storing in the object store. Next, retrieve, then set payload, done. If I come back to my Postman, as you can see, this is printing my token. Now if I hit it again, next, 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 since the 10 seconds are already completed, it is going into the token creation block again. Next and next, next, next. Okay, so let me stop this application and run without debug mode, without adding any breakpoint, so that we can make a request within 10 seconds. I'll change the perspective to Mule design and then run this application. The application is deployed now. Now let me go back to my Postman, hit it again. So if you see 9r underscore s is the token we had. Now if I hit it again, it will change. Let me hit the API. As you can see, it will create a new token. Now if we hit within the 10 seconds, it is returning the same token, right? 6c. Now if I hit it again, same token. Let's wait for 10 seconds and then re-hit it again. Okay, let's hit it again. If you see, it has returned the new token. So that is how object store works. That's all for this demo. Thanks for watching.